Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 2 in the Fitness and Money series, Maximizing Your Health and Wealth. So again, what we're going to be doing in these series of videos is we're going to be breaking down every body part, muscle group in your body, and we're going to be doing exercises per those muscle groups, focusing on form. Form is very, very important to allow you to get the optimal work done in that specific muscle group. It's also very important to mitigate or eliminate the risk of injury. So we don't want to, we don't want either of those things to happen. So we're going to concentrate on form. We're going to do the exercises right. If you didn't see the original video yesterday, episode 1, please take a look at that. Not only did we go over some ground rules and expectations for what the videos are going to be like, but we also covered our first exercise, which was one-arm dumbbell rows, showed you the incorrect way to do those, showed you the correct way to do those, and then we got a little bit into some financial tips about paying yourself first and building wealth. We're going to build on that particular subject at the end of the video. But going forward here, we're going to be covering the body from top to bottom. We decided to focus on the back muscle group first. Some of you might be saying, what about the shoulders? I'm actually going to work the shoulders in when we do the chest. So we're going to probably be going back, chest, shoulders. And again, as I said yesterday, you can't just work your back without working your chest. You can't just work your chest without working your back. You have to have that balance there, or you're opening yourself up for future problems, posture, many different types of things that we don't really want to do. So first I'm going to show you the incorrect way to do bent over dumbbell rows. It's a common exercise. Again, it's another one that most people do wrong. So I'm going to show you how it's done wrong, and then I'm going to show you the right way to do it and how you're going to get the most out of it. Okay, so I've got a couple of standard little power block dumbbells here. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of equipment you use. You can use dumbbells, you can use straps, you can use bands, kettlebells, whatever works best. It's basically just the motion and the form is what we have to concentrate on. So the first thing that we don't want to do when we're bending down to pick these dumbbells up, we don't want to lock our knees out. Locking your knees out is going to make you prone to injury for sure, and you're not going to do the exercise correctly either. The other thing that you don't want to do is you're not going to want to, as we grab the dumbbells, you're not going to want to jerk your body up as you bring the dumbbells up. This is one that you see incorrectly done all the time. People are using a super heavy weight that they really shouldn't be using, and they can't do the exercise in the right form, so they have to jerk the weight up and use other types of stabilizer muscles and different things to get it done right. So, incorrect form on doing this exercise. My knees are locked. I'm bringing the weights up, but I'm also bringing my torso up. Don't want to do that. The correct way to do these is you want your knees to be bent. So we're going to bend down, get the dumbbells, have the knees bent. We want to bring the dumbbells up like this, but notice the back and the torso is at about a 45-degree angle to your legs. And those are the two key things we want to see, is the back completely flat or close to completely flat, and the knees slightly bent. Those are the key things. The other thing is kind of similar to the exercise that we did yesterday, the one-arm dumbbell row. We're trying to minimize the amount of bicep work that gets done when you're trying to do a back exercise. Because the bicep was a weak link to the back, we do not want that muscle to fatigue before we've adequately worked the back. So, again, what I would suggest is when you do these, oh, and by the way, feet should be about shoulder width. That's good. You do not want to have these close together and be bringing them up this way. When you do that, you're involving your biceps. It's also kind of awkward. You want them out here, and you want to bring them up like this. And at the top of the motion, up here, you want to kind of contract your back a little bit if you can. It's going to be contracting anyways, but if at the top of the movement, if you can contract your back, that's just going to put even more good type of stress on your latissimus dorsi muscle. So let me explain a couple of things with the two exercises, the one we did in the previous episode and this exercise. I find that the exercise yesterday, the one-arm dumbbell row, seems to be geared a little bit more, when you do it correctly, seems to be geared a little bit more to the width of your back. At least that's my finding. I've been doing those for years, doing them correctly, and your back will get wider if you do that. Now, it's not going to get crazy wide. Everybody's different from an individualistic standpoint. But when I say that, you have your waist and then this V taper that happens with your back like this. The one-arm dumbbell row seems to accentuate that, work that better than the bent over barbell row. The barbell row is more of a back thickening exercise, and it kind of works down the mid part of your back, just to the sides of your spine. That's the area that seems to get worked the most with the bent over dumbbell rows. So, okay, so that is exercise 2 for episode 2 here. Let's now expound a little bit on yesterday. So yesterday we talked about the idea of paying yourself first. And that paying yourself first is making sure that a fixed amount of money comes out of your paycheck automatically so that you do not see it, and it goes into some type of investment vehicle, whether it's a 401k, whether it's a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k. It's got to go into, even if it just goes into a savings account for now, you got to be able to take that money without you seeing it and get it into some type of investment account. Again, I like to say, and I believe it to be 100% true, it's not what you make, it's what you keep that matters when it comes to building wealth. So I mentioned a couple of different options, and it depends on whether you're gonna work for a company, a larger company, smaller company, or whether you work for yourself, whether you work for a school system, a government system. They're all going to have different acronyms for what they call their savings and investing plan. Corporate savings and investing plans are called 401ks. As you get into more the school system and government, they'll change their plans. Some are called 453Bs, and of course, if you're self-employed, you've hopefully heard the term IRA, individual retirement account. You can either have a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. And that's kind of what I wanted to hone in on today was the differences between, the main differences between all those different investment vehicles there. 401ks are money that you're going to put into your corporate plan, and it's going to be probably on a deferred basis. And I'll explain what that is. Some companies now offer Roth 401ks. Some don't. They're relatively new. If you have the option of a deferred traditional 401k or a Roth 401k, or subsequently a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, it's going to depend on everyone's situation. The main difference between the two is how they are taxed. The traditional 401k and IRA, they are, when it says that they're deferred, it means you are deferring the taxes. You're not eliminating the taxes, you are basically delaying the taxes until a future point in time. So the easiest example I can think of is, if you were to take $1,000 and you were to save 10% of that $1,000 gross amount, you would be putting $100, 10% of that 1,000, into your 401k. If you were to have a Roth 401k, you would be getting something less than that $100 off of that $1,000 because it's taxed. So one gets pulled off of the gross income and one gets pulled off of the net income. Your traditional 401k and IRA, the money that you save and invest is going to come right off of the top of your gross income. No taxes withheld. The Roth 401k and the traditional Roth IRA, if you want to have it or whatever, that money is going to come off of your net income. So when the money comes off of your gross income, it's a larger number. When it comes off of your net income, it's a smaller number. Again, the example of, if you take 10% of $1,000 gross and it's not taxed, that's going to be $100. If, however, that money is taxed based on your tax bracket, that money is going to come out of your net income. So it's going to be something less than that $100. Now, let me tell you the advantages of both of those. And it's a little bit, I don't want to say it's difficult to understand, but you have to make sure that you do understand it, is when you take the money and you invest it in your 401k, in a traditional 401k or a traditional IRA, you're going to have a bigger sum of money that's going to be invested. It's going to be $100 off of that 1,000 versus something less than that if it comes off of your net income, if it goes into a Roth. So everybody might say, logically, well, geez, I'd want a bigger amount of money, working for me and being invested. That's true to an extent. The downfall of a 401k and a traditional IRA is that at some point you are going to have to pay taxes on that money. It's going to be when you reach 59 and a half and you start withdrawing that money, Uncle Sam is going to tax it at whatever your current tax rate is. So remember, it's not eliminating the tax when it's deferred as you're investing it, it's just delaying the tax until a future point in time, which is usually when you're near retirement age, whatever that might be. The Roth 401k and the Roth IRA, every dollar that you contribute to those two vehicles, since it's already been taxed once, that's it. So, if you end up with $50,000, say at age 60, you have $50,000, you can make a call to whatever institution that money is with, and you can say, hey, I want $10,000 of that 50, and they will send you a check for $10,000, and that's it. You're done. However, with the traditional 401k and traditional IRA, that's not the case. You call up and say, hey, I want $10,000 out of that $50,000. You're not going to net $10,000 because that money was never taxed to begin with. It was deferred, hence delayed. You just are paying the taxes now, later down the line, as opposed to as you're investing it. Next episode, I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about what that means at different stages of your life. And it'll get into whether you file long form or short form on your taxes, if you have a lot of deductions, a home mortgage, property and school taxes, other interest. If you have a lot of deductions, one might be better at a certain point than another. If you don't have a lot of deductions and you file that standard short form, you may want to put in less money initially, but at least when you take it out, you're not going to have to worry about any tax burden. So that's where we're going to wrap it today. Again, appreciate everybody joining here. If you want to subscribe, that's great. We're going to be doing this probably every 3 or 4 days. Again, we're going to go through muscle groups one by one, exercises, form. We're going to be giving you those financial strategies and tips. And we're also going to be getting into supplementation, diet. We're going to expand as we go on here. And hopefully it'll be an enjoyable experience for you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.